類比 analogy 形容 classes which are not challenging。OK， 咁留意一啲得意啲嘅用法，例如 metaphor 都係，佢有啲好得意啲嘅用法。呢兩個都係 OK 20嚟嘅，60好。哇！田窿窿 ，One of my best students really should not have ended up in a maximum security prison. He only went to jail for a misdemeanor, but was persuaded to OK 動詞啦，有個 by some older prisoners. Because of this, my student was given a long. So, although in one way he was, in another way he was 嗱，咁呢度咧其實真係有個 contrast， 咁即係一正一負啦。咁邊個正邊個負咧？咁睇埋後面 ，because he was young and too easily influenced。好啦，咁所以咧就係容易受人影響啦，咁所以呢個係負咯，呢個就係正。咁聽到啲答案咧形容詞嘅話咧，咁就即刻填落去啦，未必係順序落嘅。2015年係唔係順序嘅，有一個部分，但係之後2016至2021咧100% 順序落，咁不過咧都要小心。都要咧預咗佢有機會有啲部分咧唔順序落嘅。好，咁試下呢篇難嘅嘢啦，我特登揀一篇難嘅。
Anyway, I think there is a connection between what you wear and what you project. And I wanted to project to the prisoners that these were real college classes. Some teachers dumbed their classes down, but that was on campus too. I taught my classes as if these were the same classes that I was teaching anywhere else. And I extended this to how I conducted myself in the classroom, what I wore, all those sorts of things. At the other extreme, there was the story of a professor who would always dress casual when coming to the prison. One day he wore a suit and tie, and his students asked him, "Why are you so dressed up?" And he said, "After this, I'm going to teach my real students." And that really stuck with them. This impression that they were not the real students, and what they were doing was just Mickey Mouse, trivial. And that's just so destructive to their education. So who were the guys who were in my prison? And who were the guys who attended my classes? Well, most of them were there for very serious offenses, typically murder. And that was probably the most common offense. Maybe 1 in 20 was there for kidnapping, and an equal number were there for rape. One class of people that were separate from the general prison population were child molesters. They tried to keep to themselves as much as they could, because it is dangerous to be one of those people in prison, especially when you're inside with a bunch of murderers, right? There were also some drug offenders who were in prison for non-violent offenses. Sometimes they had other things on their record, such as burglary. But there were quite a lot of people who were in there because they got caught with an awful lot of drugs. They were certainly the second largest group. I'll tell you about one case with one guy, though, which was really kind of sad. He was a young, really smart guy who was in one of my classes. While he was in a local jail, he actually wasn't even in prison. He was just in a local jail where you serve time for minor offenses. So he'd committed a misdemeanor and then fallen in with 2 older guys who convinced him that they ought to break out. So even though he only had a short time left on his jail sentence, he was kind of young and dumb and broke out with these guys. And of course, all of them got caught. And breaking out of a local jail is a felony. So he got a much longer sentence in a maximum security prison for breaking out of a local jail. As I said, he was in some of my classes, and I really enjoyed having him in my classes because he was a really bright guy who wanted to learn and further his education.
The recording has just ended. You now have 10 minutes.
好啦，咁比起上一條片呢，今次呢就唔會好似炸彈式咁好長好長 ，OK？ 咁但係呢，都有啲難嘅，因為啲生字啊，嗱佢想傳遞俾佢學生一個咩信息？佢話呢，佢唔用 convey 呢個字講， 佢話我想 project to my students， 我想投射，想表達出嚟。咁你見到咧 listening 咧深嘅部分咧，嗱其實呢個程度一定係 task 4噶啦，最深嘅部分。咁咧佢就用 project to 去講 convey， 咁即係話俾你聽，你留心啊，要寫答案啦。當你知道佢寫答案嘅時候咧，佢 real college classes 咁就唔係特別難串嘅。咁但係咧呢度咧用翻完整句子，咁你對翻嘅，例如 classes， 咁啊對翻個 they 啦，係真嘅 college classes， 雖然喺個監獄度，但係佢係好尊重佢嘅學生嘅。相反啊，佢話喺另一個 spectrum， 另一個 extreme， 佢其他老師咧就好 hea 嘅 ，OK， 咁咧佢用一個乜嘢類比去比喻呢個 classes 咧？咁就係 Mickey Mouse， 即係好兒戲嘅好兒戲咁嘅意思 ，OK，trivial， 佢用呢個字嘅 trivial， 微不足道啊。好，咁之後呢度咧，佢話我嘅 students 因為乜嘢而入獄咧 ？imprisonment 即係收監啦。咁哇呢個幾難喎。咁佢呢度應該唔難嘅 murder 呢個，佢有講咗2次啦，即係用咗 most common 呢個字。OK， 咁之後咧佢講咗2樣嘢，佢話 1 in 20。OK， 咁啊乘翻100啦，咁啊要計埋數啊5啊，咁啊即係呢兩個咧，佢都有 equal 嘅，就算唔係用數學嘅話，咁你都知道係呢個啦。kidnapping 綁架同埋強姦。咁之後咧，佢講2樣嘢喎，講咗 drug offenders， 講 drugs 同埋講 burglary。burglary 咧即係入屋打劫 ，OK 爆格。咁但係佢之後咧，佢話 drugs 就係個 second largest， 咁係有呢啲提示咧，我哋要好留心，無論做每一份卷嘅時候，一定要留心呢樣嘢嘅。好，咁你見到咧，佢唔係順序落喎，佢呢2個係順序落啦，佢呢個係先講呢個答案，再講2個，再咁樣喎。咁去到呢度佢又嚟咯，咁所以咧，佢係直接講呢個 smart 先喎。雖然佢之後最後有講個 bright， 係咪？咁但係咧，所以一定要分析咗先。OK， 咁啊，佢有 bright 呢度，我覺得最難嘅，因為佢直接話 dumb and young 好快講咗一次啊，咁所以咧一定要捉到啦。咁呢度咧都易嘅，要 break out 即係咧逃獄，咁所以咧就有個long sentence misdemeanor 啦，即係一啲比較輕啲嘅罪案咯。咁啊，但係佢話逃獄咧係一個好大鑊嘅嘢嚟嘅 felony， 咁所以咧就 given a long sentence 就係咁啦。咁好 challenging 嘅呢份，咁我專登揀啲深嘅，俾大家啲心理準備。咁就冇可能咁深啦 DSE 嗰個 task 4。咁啊呢2條片咧，即係我相信係有啲作用，就係要知道幾時講答案，留意一啲 synonyms。咁同埋咧，係盡量咧係佢講幾長嗰句一字不漏，盡量寫翻晒出嚟 ，check 翻啲文法。寫唔到嘅話咧，攞佢個 keywords 係啦，自己砌翻靚佢。咁啊啲可以舉手攞張白紙。其實佢應該有張白紙俾你嘅，可以舉手攞張白紙。尤其男仔咧，即係我啊，寫得唔靚字嘅人咧，撩晒先，再 transfer 翻落個 answer sheet 嗰度。好。